who becomes your pastor.
Why?
Is the one who gives you a pastor. And that is why there is a lot of fights between the worship leaders and the pastors they are ministering under. And that is why there is a conflict between fatherhood and sonship. You've run to a pastor thinking that is your father, yet is your brother.
Okay. You have lost me somewhere.
All right. Not every pastor or not every person you go and sit under is your father.
He can be your brother.
He can be your brother.
How do you tell the difference?
Connection.
Okay.
This is something that is spiritually, it's just spiritually obvious. Who is your father? Someone that has got something that you're looking for. That your heart and your spirit feels like, when I follow this man. Take an example of Elisha and Elijah.
Okay.
If I follow this man of God, I feel he carries my destiny. Anytime he speaks, you feel how much you are connected. He's able also to see what is happening in your life. Even before you tell him,
he knows.
He knows. He feels you.
Okay.
He's a father. He's not just a pastor, but you feel there is a father in him. You see, not every pastor has been given the grace to be a father. That is something you need to understand as well.
Okay.
Not all pastors, all shepherds are fathers.
Okay. Can I have a pastor where I'm fellowshipping and I have a father from a
Yes,
church?
yes. It is important. It can work. It can work.
So where do I plant my seed?
Planting a seed, it depends.
Or tithe, where do I tithe?
Tithe, of course, you have to tithe where you are being fed.
Okay.
But you can give a love offering to your father.
Also, a father is not a guarantee.
A father is not a guarantee that you have to tithe in your father.
Okay.
And that is another mistake.
Okay.
Another error that sometimes we make.
Okay.
I can have a father, but I also have my mentor, a pastor who is pastoring me at the moment. If I feel, if there is no connection, if I realize that, for example, if I'm ministering in a church of my brother, biological brother who is called into ministry, and I'm called into the worship ministry, and I'm a worship leader in his church, and I feel when it comes to matters of fatherhood, I feel, Louis is a father to me, So what will I do? I will give my offering, my tithe in the church where I am being ministered to. That is where I'm being fed.
Okay.
So where I'm being fed and, some of other graces are working upon my life, I need to give my tithe there. But as for my father, you know, fatherhood goes beyond tithe. Fatherhood goes beyond just an offering. It is a relationship.
Okay.
Yes. Which must not die today. It is a relationship it is being held by something until that father's time is gone.
Okay.
That is when there is a mantle. There is a place of mantle exchange. So you don't just follow a father for nothing. You follow a father for something. So when you feel like this man of God has got something that I need, then follow that man of God.
Okay.
It is important.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there is something we're talking about here, and about fatherhood and sonship. And you are provoking some people.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know this is a very controversial talk.
Yeah, provoking some people here.
Yes.
Because, distance of fatherhood and sonship.
Yes.
Do I have to have a virtual father as a son?
No. How can you have a virtual father, a father whom you cannot run to?
Like for example, me, I decide for someone like I'm gonna be T.D. Jakes. He's my father of faith. Can I go that direction?
You can go that direction, but it depends. How? You see, what are the factors that you consider when you're choosing a father who becomes your father? And as a minister, where is your calling and what is your calling? For example, if I begin to say that I have a ministry here in Nairobi, and that this is the land, my native land, and I have a father in the US who probably, for him to come to Kenya, takes ages. You see, that is a mentor to me. He's not a father. Because a father must be someone who is in the same land who understands the territorial spirits who are fighting the same battles that you have fought. Somebody who understands the geographical environment, the spiritual atmosphere of the area. That when you run unto him, he understands. He tells you what you're supposed to do. But when I go to TDJX today, for just an example,
yes,
calling him my father, he doesn't understand what is happening in Nairobi and what we are fighting in Nairobi. God has called him into United States, so he understands. Probably if you bring TDJX in Nairobi, his ministry cannot stand. May not.
Yeah.
Because the waves in the grace are totally different.
Yeah.
If you take me to US, probably I may not be able to do well in terms of ministry. And I'm in US, and my father is somewhere in Muranga. You see, even if I make a call to him to help me to understand the warfare that I'm fighting in the land, he may not understand. So that covering somehow, there is a place where it may not work well.
Okay.
So talking about a father in the relationship, you have to check in which environment and where is your calling and what is your calling and what do you want. So virtual father probably is a no.
No.
Yes.
Well, some of us may be having prodigal fathers, and we are not aware. So I think you've heard that. Let me talk to these people. Nancy Adongo, thank you for joining. Saying, I like that lesson learned. It is well said, my pastor. It's God who chooses your pastor. A pastor should be the father. Much agreed, man of God. Rhoda Siombua, she's saying, following Papa. Then I have Nancy Adongo, amen. Sela J saying, watching. Christine B. Kenya, tuned in. Mary James, preparation is key in everything, no matter how simple something appears. Just tayarisha. Rafael Nyambura anasema, what a topic, enjoying. And then he's saying, following my dad. Okay, in Community Christian Worship Center. Agote Elfas, tuned from Roysambu. Irene Matumbui saying tuned in. And then I have Steve King, this Reverend is just tuned in. Following, thank you so much, Reverend Steve. And then I have someone else here, Mary James saying familiarity, ignorance, carnality have led to disrespect of worship leaders. Then I have Apostle Ruben Deritu watching with you. I have, who else is here? Mary James saying, wow, Ngosi Junior learning wisdom. Thank you so much. Now, all of you that have given you a mention, look, you can walk away with this book. You can walk away with this book tonight. And next week on Friday, you'll be coming on this show to receive this book. All you need to do is share that broadcast to as many people as possible, because I'll see here who has done the most shares. And I will be rewarding you this book as soon as possible. Now, we are streaming on all our social media platforms and also on Nisi Television. We are on Signet platform. If you want to be part and parcel of this discussion, ukuje hapa kwa hii meza, just give me a call and I will be responding to you. Now, here's the thing. On 18th of June 2022, we are having something we are calling Tehillah Ablaze. It's a worship experience, 6 hours, non-stop worship from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It will be on Saturday. I'll be coming to tell you more details after this short break.
Welcome to Nisi Television, House of Rest. We are a Christian TV station airing spiritual, nourishing, and morally shaping content. To advertise your product and service or book a preaching session with us, call us on 0745 849622 or 0722 358590. You can also email us at nisitv2020@gmail.com. Nisi Television, House of Rest.
Elohim, Adonai, Shama, 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 oh Shama, 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 oh Shama. Elohim, hey Adonai, Shama, oh Shama.
Welcome back. This is Worship Leaders Forum. I still repeat, this book is going to somebody developing a heart of worship. This one inaenda kwa mtu leo, usiku wa leo, tena niongee Kiswahili, usiku wa manane wa leo, hii kitabu inaenda kwa mtu, and you can be the one. What you need to do, just share and then comment down there, tell me I've shared, I'll be giving you this book. You'll be coming to the show next week so that we can give you this book live on set if you win the book. Now, thank you for those of us who are joining us and are watching. God bless you so much. We're talking about developing qualities of a worship leader and how to have key qualities of a worship leader. And you have looked at a worship leader. Please, you need to have a father. You need to have a father, because some of us are very orphans. We think God is the ultimate father, and we don't need fathers. So we have just learned tonight, we need fathers. Now, talking about fathers, familiarity. We have seen a lot of worship leaders so much into trouble. It's only worship leaders that do fight with pastors. And a lot of our worship leader has the guts to exchange words with the pastor, but you can never find that in an usher. Is it because we have developed that fatherhood and brotherhood to a point that we are too close that disrespect imepotea?
I think being close with your father does not make you to disrespect him.
Okay.
The more you are close and realizes that this man is my pastor and is my father, there is a lot of respect and loyalty that must be accorded.
Okay.
The more you are realizing that is your father, the more you are becoming humble. But when that relationship, because it is a relationship that not only one person is supposed to build,
Okay.
Both are supposed to build. I see you as a son, and you need to see me as a father.
Okay.
And I make sure that I cultivate that which is needed, and to see you as a son, as a daughter. And to you as well, you need to cultivate and realizes that do much more to show that I'm your father.
Okay.
So I think familiarity gets in because of wrong relationship that the son may have with the father, so to be so called. Maybe someone is not really understanding their positions and their roles in the game, and that is why something begin to break loose. You are talking about characteristics, the qualities, and all that. Talking about now pride, when pride comes in.
Okay.
And there's something that I want to say it with a lot of respect.
Please do.
When your father trusts you as a son, to an extent whereby you see, you may feel like you are the favorite. He can tell you when is not okay. He can tell you when another minister has annoyed him or something like that. You are trusted that much. You are able to know some of his weaknesses, because when you're walking close to him, you will actually know some of his weaknesses. And that is where the problem now comes in. The moment a son in the ministry realizes and knows the weaknesses of the father, that is the time they begin to become familiarity.
Okay.
Or familiarity kind of spirit comes in. So they get to become familiar, and they begin to fight their father because there is an information that they know that the rest of the people do not know.
Okay.
And that is why I teach in the school of ministry. And I tell ministers, the moment you stop smelling the perfume of your pastor and begin to smell his sweat, be very careful. That is what I tell the ministers.
Let me say that again.
The moment you are so close with your pastor or with your spiritual father, and stop smelling his perfume, because all along you've been smelling his perfume. Now you begin to smell how his sweat smells. Be very careful. That is the point whereby you are being tested. If you are really a true son. Actually, true sons are tested when their fathers, some of their weaknesses are exposed unto them. So this is where the mess comes in. When the pastor is able to tell the worship leader or the praise and worship, or whoever is doing that role, they begin to now know the weakness of the pastor at that particular point. So they begin to misbehave. Now that is where familiarity now comes in. And then pride comes in, and disloyalty comes in. And now they feel like, you see, you need me more than, without us, the ministry cannot go far. Ministry cannot just grow by word alone. That's when they begin to compete and tells pastor, you preach for 2 hours, as you want us to praise and worship, you're only giving them 1 hour. They begin to compete with even time. So I think that is where the mess comes in. But if you cultivate in your relationship and you know your boundary, you as a son, because you're mature enough, you need to draw your boundary. Have your boundary. This is my father, whatever he tells me. If he says this, just do what he has said. That is loyalty. Even if what he has said is wrong according to you, go and do it and let the outcome be negative so that he sees. Then now you can now apply that one of yours.
Okay.
You say, sir, I say that, I decided to do what you say, but this is the outcome. Can I try the one I was telling you?
Okay.
And then you will see the mess. Say, oh, so this is the outcome? Please, can you do whatever you are saying you can? And you see, you realize that you're working, the working condition and the serving condition, how you are serving God together in that ministry is so much with a lot of humility. Yes.
Wow. I think it's what we were talking about previously, like a son does what? There are 3 things that a son needs to do without question. When you're given instruction, they respond, they comply and conform.
Yes.
without question.
Without
When
question.
you're given something to do, you respond, you conform, and you comply. Now that's a son.
Yes.
Well, now we are establishing this tonight, like one key quality of a worship leader. I know probably you didn't expect us to talk about this, is one, you must be a son in the ministry. What about the hired? Do you have, can we call them, how do you put it in other language, adopted? Like I've hired, this is a job. So if that means, are you a son or you're an adopted son?
When you're hired,
Eh,
you see, you can be hired,
eh,
but still remain a son.
how so?
Because when we're talking about being hired, we are talking about them that are given some token at the end of their services. There is an agreement that is put down, they lay down. And if there is that necessity, if there is that need, let me call it so, if there's that need, and you realize that this young man or this young lady has got what it takes to take our ministry to the next level, and he comes in, and in the agreement, because there is always an agreement when we're talking about being hired, in the agreement, two things must go together. As you are coming to worship and to serve under this commission, and as we give you the token, the church must have their rules and regulations. Not just anybody who can come because they know how to do it or because you're in need. You just hire anybody. So now, one, you must belong here. And talking about being the sense of belonging, you have to be a son. You, not just a minister, but you have to be. You have to be a son.
Okay.
And okay, you can't force it as well. It is something that the two must cultivate on it. And if it happens that it doesn't work, then I tell you, we will work on the basic of a hired minister. Yet there are also other sons. So hired ministers have already received their reward of the ministry. They're only waiting for the reward of God. But the son carries the mantle, both of the ministry and the reward of God in their lives. So it is about, or is upon the one that is hired to make a decision, either to become a son. Because I asked one of the serious worship leaders, whom I've known for some time. You will find in this church, or she's a lady, you will find her in this church and the other church. So one question that I asked her, who is your pastor and where is your church? Suppose something now happens to you, because we can't deny the fact things happen, and even negative things can happen to somebody.
Sure.
Suppose something happens to you right now. Which pastor will give an account of you?
Who will bury you?
Who will bury you?
Okay.
Which pastor will give an account of you? And do you think all the platforms that you've been standing and you're going around ministering in every platform, do you believe that all those pastors, even when you mess, do you think that all those pastors will give or will talk positively about you? All of them. What about when something happens? It must not be death. You can mess in this life and something happens to you, and somebody makes a call, Pastor so-and-so, there's this lady called so-and-so, this man called so-and-so, and I hear that is your son. He has done this and this and this. It's a mess and it's in a police custody. Please, we want you to come and give your statement about this guy. Are you sure that amongst them, there is one that is your father that will come no matter what you have done and defend you, say, yes, he's my son? Are you sure? So this is something that we need to think about.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Head on.
Very important.
Okay. What about the invites? Because you see, I'm successful in my ministry, for example.
Yes.
And we are so many. Maybe I've mentored people, or we have been mentored, and we are so many doing the same thing. So for me to lead or to play the instrument, it takes a month or two. But there's a church that they are in need of my services. And I keep on being called and going and moving. Does that disqualify me from being a son here? Because you've already said again, when I go there, I should also seek to be a son more than just a hired person. So where are my allegiances in both two scenarios?
No, those are very different scenarios.
Uh-huh.
There is one that I've just come to join and be part.
Okay.
And I said it again, and I'll repeat it once again. It depends with the two, because you can't force fatherhood and sonship. Even in the ministries which we have, not everybody that are seated under you and listening to you are all your sons. Others are just friends who comes for fellowship, but they don't recognize you as a father.
Okay.
So sons are based on relationship. So if you are probably you are invited, I don't dispute the fact that you can be gifted, and your gift is not only to serve in your church.
Okay.
Your gift is to serve the whole nation.
Okay.
You may not just be invited in the local churches alone. You can as well be invited in the international areas or the nations.
Okay.
So that means in your ministry, there is it is a bit of evangelical. So when you have that, you see, you can still be invited, but from who or whose cover are you operating? Apart from the call of God in your life, who are you submitted to? Who prays for you when you leave and when you are going? So when you're invited, when you want to even acknowledge yourself or even recognize yourself before people there, who are you? I am so and so. Let me give you two different examples.
Yes.
I've invited two people. One, I say that I'm called so and so. I come from this place. My church is this and this and this, and my father, spiritual father, is so and so. And by his permission, I am here. He allowed me. I talked to him, and he allowed me. He knows that I'm here. And there's this one that says that when he stands say I'm so and so, and I'm blessed, and I do this in the ministry. We don't know his church. We don't know his pastor. We don't know where he's come from. When the two people stands, I tell you the truth, you will feel the difference.
Okay.
Not in terms of vocals. The one who probably did not even mention his church, does not even have a church, does not even have a pastor, may have very nice vocals and everything else and knows how to sing. But the spirit behind is what matters. So there is that ministration. You will feel there is a difference between person A and person B. So when it is a matter of being hired, probably I have an event, and I feel like Brother Louis is doing great stuff in the worship department. I decide to call you and invite you, just like men of God are invited.
Okay.
When they're invited to preach in other churches, it doesn't mean that they have neglected their church. No.
Okay.
You will go and preach there. When you have time, you know you have a home. And at that particular time, there is also something that is going on. The problem is when you want to fight to live. Yeah, you want to fight for your freedom. You don't need to fight for your freedom. You need to be prayed for and be released. So that when you are doing your stuff out there, because probably sometimes our gifts put food on our table.
Okay.
And somehow I feel like I may not get to that extreme. And then I have to release you so that let your staff serve the nation and, also get something and earn a living with it. But you have to recognize, with the recognition that I have my father. I know one of the ladies who is touching our nation today, I may not mention the name, because of many 1, 2, 3 things, but not in a bad way, who has been a worshiper, and she's doing great things in our nation today. This lady, she knows that she has a church. Actually, she's one great worship leaders that we have in this nation.
Okay.
But if you go to her church is not that big cathedral. It's a very small church somewhere in Kangemi. And wherever she goes, she mentions her church. This is my church, blah, 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 blah. And when she's not invited anywhere, she will always be in her church. Not even to minister, even sometimes just to fellowship and be part of the backup.
Okay.
You understand? So being invited is not bad. And where you are invited, not unless you want to join. And I'm talking to a person who may not be having that fatherhood structure. Find a father in that ministry where you are hired. Find a father. But if you have one, let the man of God know that you have a father, which is very much okay. I will make a call to your father and talk to your father on, parents to parent, basis, where I will inform your father that I have your son here, you'll be helping us in this and this and this and this and this. And it is also unless you also have another grace as a man of God to make such a call. Because others are also always fighting.
Okay.
Just come. Leave them. How much are they giving you? We will double that. And then sasa there is what is called now poaching.
Yes. Yeah, I know about that because I've ever been told something by a certain man of God.
Yes.
And, see, I told him about my father. My father is in Voi.
Okay.
Pastor Dan Mushila. That's my father. That one I can say openly on air because he's watching. Now, I've ever been told somewhere when I went to minister, and I was told, you see, your grace is growing, and I think you have overgrown your father, and you need to, I need to adopt you as a son. So you think about it. And I was asking myself, can a father, can you switch fathers?
Yes.
On that, but I cannot switch my father.
You can't switch.
He might have a small church, or maybe.
And you cannot outgrow your father.
Okay.
You can only outshine, but you cannot outgrow your father.
Well, you can outshine.
You can outshine, but you cannot outgrow.
Well, kuna mtu anasema hapa ni moto kama pasi. It is true.
Yes.
Ni moto kama pasi. Now let's talk about this part even naona time yetu inakimbia sana. Communication.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a problem or it's something that worship leaders need to have, because my opinion, we are very poor at communicating, especially even to the congregation, leave alone even to the pastor and members, even to the congregation. Kuna worship leader mmoja nilienda kanisani kwao, and I said I will never go back because he was shouting at us.
Yeah.
So how important is communication as an attribute for a worship leader?
One thing that a worship leader must, and I use the word must work on is ability to be able to influence people.
Okay.
And the ability to influence people, we are talking about having a heart for people. You must have a heart for people. And number two, talking about influence or having influence unto people, we are talking about winning the people to yourself.
Okay.
And for you to win somebody to yourself, the politicians are trying to win everybody to themselves by enticing them and using very nice language and very good promises, which they will never do unto you. After you have elected them and the time of election is ended, you will see them again at your doorstep the day they want your votes again.
After 9th of August.
After the 5 years, you will see them back unto your. Right now, they can even come to your house. Right now,
they're taking ugali.
They're even taking ugali in your house. They're even taking you ndizi. They're even taking porridge in that your small kibandaski's kiosk.
I saw one eating with street kids.
They are even sitting. Yes, they're even playing football with you. Because they are trying to do what? They are trying to win your heart unto themselves.
Okay.
In the same way, a worship leader must be humble, not in character, but humility of the heart. That is the most important thing before we talk about humility that is seen in character.
Humility of the heart.
The humility of the heart.
Okay.
And that is where we are talking about a worshiper must be circumcised in the heart. Your heart must be circumcised. We are talking about being broken.
Okay.
So when you are broken, you will know how to communicate. Because the same way your voice is sweet is the same way your attitude should be sweet. that people just want you to talk to them. That even if you just read a scripture, somebody feels you as a person.
Okay.
Because before we receive your ministration in the spiritual realm, we are receiving you as a person.
Okay.
So you must have a sweet heart.
Wow.
You must have a humble heart, a broken and a circumcised heart that will help you and know how to communicate to people without shouting at them. You see, the person you are shouting at, probably there is a shosho somewhere who spent her time praying the whole night, did not have a sleep, and he has come to church, and probably she has fell asleep behind there. She feels comfortable seated behind there. And you, because you don't have the spirit of discernment, and you are arrogant, you stand before people and begin to shout at, number one, you have to realize this person is an elder. You shout at an elderly, hey, rise up on your feet. You did not come to sleep in this place. Go back to your house. You see, there are people who talk like that.
Yeah.
So I think one of the major things that we need to do as a worship leader, you must try and win people to your heart.
Okay.
I love Sunday school teachers. They go overboard by, to a point where they are buying sweets and biscuits to the Sunday school children whom they are ministering to, not from the pocket of the church, but from their own pockets.
Pocket. Wow.
Why? Because they want the children, these children, to listen to her or him. He or she want to win the heart of these children. And that is why, if you look at our small kids back at home, they love their teachers. They respond to their teachers more than how they respond to us as parents.
Okay.
Whatever the teacher tells them in that exam or in that whatever topic, they take it with high regards than what you as a parent you're coming to tell them. Why? Because teachers have won the heart of our children.
Wow.
Our children will take every mistake that are happening in our houses to their teachers in school. They trust their teachers with every information. Talk to any kindergarten teacher. Will tell you the secrets they have about the families, which they are being told by the children whom we have in our houses, whom we think they don't even see and they can't even talk. Why? Because teachers have won their heart.
Wow.
So it is the work of the worship leader to win the heart of the congregation. Not by ill talking, but by having a circumcised heart, by having a humble heart, and by having a heart that is broken. That is the way.
You've heard that. Instead of trying to juggle here to share all these things and take notes at the same time. But anyway, this is deep because we have seen there's a lot of arrogance sometimes that comes on board by worship leaders sometimes, even being arrogant to fellow members. Even the church.
Yes.
They feel their vocals and their music ability is higher than the rest.
Yeah.
And so they want to look down upon the others. And this one, how would you tell a worship leader who feels they're more anointed than the pastor because the pastor cannot sing, but they can sing better than the pastor? What's your advice to them?
My advice is very simple. Some of us, we have pastors who probably they are not, okay, there is no one who cannot sing. Everybody can sing.
Okay.
But it depends into capacity and the category of ministration in the worship ministry.
Okay.
But if suppose you have a man of God who has a little knowledge in music, let me call it so, and you are blessed because that is your area, you are doing so much in research about the music ministry. The same way a pastor is doing a lot by going to theology, extend his calling by doing a lot of studies and schooling. The same way a music director or a worship leader who tend to go that deep. And suppose you realize that you have knowledge in the music. The reason why the horns are coming in every time and we are growing horns as worship leaders is because you will realize that the pastor in charge has given a lot of freedom to the praise and worship department that he no longer gets involved. You get it now?
Yes.
He no longer gets involved. He believes in that worship leader that as long as that worship leader is there, the team is safe and the team is okay. So he begins to look into other things.
Okay.
So worship department, praise and worship department becomes a parallel ministry to pastoral department. And that is now where the strife comes in. Because the moment pastor has just let the guy or the person that is in charge to take control of everything until amempatia powers mingi. Akamwambia, you know, sitaki kuongea juu hiyo department, you are solely responsible for everything that is happening there.
You are the one in charge.
You are the one in charge. So a praise and worship leader or a worship leader becomes a small pastor of a small congregation in the worship team. You get it now? So he feels like the authority that has been given unto him equalizes the boss. That is the pastor. So he becomes a small pastor inside, or a small pastor of a congregation, of a small team that is of the praise and worship. Wow. And that is why, however much arrogant a worship leader can be, he cannot take his arrogancy to an usher. He will only be arrogant to two sectors or two departments. The pastoral department and the worship team department. And now we as a congregant, we will see the character of arrogancy and manipulation when he stands and tries to command us. And you see, you know what? We will be looking at him like this. When he says something, we are looking at him like this. So the problem is, let the worship leaders understand that they are answerable to the pastor.
It's not like it's a ministry they are running.
It is not a ministry they are running parallel.
Because some do say, pastor can only advise me on my ministry because this is my team. You know, they use that term, this is my team.
That is not your team, because that is a team of the church. If we don't talk about the praise and worship, these guys are members of this church. And they are qualified for any other benefit and every other reward that is happening in this ministry. So before we talk about you as a member of the praise and worship, you are a member of a certain local church, led by a certain pastor. Now, let me ask you a question in connection to such. And let us ask ourselves this. Suppose that his team, whom he feels like we can only, or a pastor can only advise, if that team messes, the team is in the church, but if that team messes and the community realizes that the team have messed, is your name as a worship leader going to be spoken out there, or the name of the pastor, the name of the church? Two names shall be talked about by the community. Hiyo kanisa ya pastor so and so. Wale ambao washirika wake wanaabudu pale kwa madhabahu wamefanya hii na hii. So your name as a worship leader is not even mentioned anywhere.
It's not anywhere.
It's not mentioned anywhere. So it is not a parallel. Every department is answerable to the pastor in charge. Remember when God spoke to Moses in the book of Numbers, after they have gone round for a long time, and God comes and tells him, I would want you now to choose the 70 elders or leaders. After you've chosen the 70 leaders, who will bear the same burden with you, those who are very responsible. You see, we should know who is responsible. It is me as a pastor. I'm the one who should know who is responsible to hold a certain office. Then God says this to Moses, then I will take your spirit. He will not take his own spirit. He will take the spirit of Moses and distribute upon each and every one of them, 70, all of them. They will be carrying the spirit of Moses, so that they may help you to bear the burden of the ministry. Now, we are talking about the spirit of Moses. We are not talking about the spirit of just a man. We are talking about the spirit of the commission. And who carries the spirit of the commission? The vision bearer. That's why everything that is happening in the ministry, in the church, pastor is to be blamed. Today we are seeing in the social media, you know, the NTV is posting something that we have a lot of question about the ladies who got pregnant in Acacia. And so you see, the name of the church is what is trending. Suppose these ladies did not go to church. They only told their parents that they were going to church, and they decided to go to their boyfriend's house. They said they are going to the Acacia. And my question was, and I asked somebody a question, did these guys who are talking about the church and the Acacia, did they ask those ladies where they really got pregnant? And the ladies told them that we got pregnant inside the church, and we were sleeping with those boys inside the church during the Acacia time. You see? So whose name is going out there? Whether it is a lie or it is true, it is a blackmail. It is the name of the church, and the pastor is responsible.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is something I'm also getting heated up. Nasikia kusema kwa hii kiti. But let me read a few comments here. By the way, guys, I'm about to give the book, and there are two people that are currently competing on. The Dart of a Leader, and then I have Jackson Juma following. Gideon Kamoto, very interesting, I'm blessed. Nancy Dong is saying, one thing I like with this man of God is that he's not a hindrance or enemy of the progress. Most of the pastors don't release their members. I've witnessed him releasing a member to go to another church for ministry. Mombasa. Huyu anakujua vizuri sana. Nancy Adongo, toa sadaka. Just give an offering.
Pay bill number is there.
The pay bill number is there. Please give an offering for this
yes.
wonderful explanation. Anyway, there are some questions that are on our WhatsApp number, and some are on our SMS. I don't know if we'll be having time to read, but before then, there is a poster I'm going to put on the screen in a few minutes about an event called Tehila Ablaze. And I would like you to be part and parcel of this event, so that we are going to have 6 hours of worship non-stop. Hakuna kitu ingine, ni worship for 6 hours. If you're going to worship in your mother tongue, in any language, I think the poster is up on our screen. It's called Tehila Ablaze Interdenominational Worship Meeting. It's going to happen at CCI Koma. This Koma, si Koma Rock, Koma ile ya uko Matu Mala, ukienda uko Machakos.
Pastor Joska.
It is Pastor Joska, yes. We are going to be Pastor Joska. And the pastor who is hosting this, Pastor Dr. Ben Obare with Roslyn Obare. They're going to be blessing us during this event. They are our host. And so the whole of worship leaders for our family, tunamwagika huko, sisi wote. And we are going to mobilize. So if you want to be part and parcel of this event, I'm going to leave my number on the broadcast down there. Call that number. Tell me I like to go. We can organize how we will reach there. And also, if you want to participate in the praise and worship, in the ministration also, we are beginning our rehearsals officially next week. So you can join in, and the Lord will bless you. So that is Tehila Ablaze for you, and God is going to bless you. I'll be bringing Pastor Ben Obare next week here on set, and he'll be telling us more about the same. But kuna kitu tumeambiwa hapa, and it's very powerful. And I believe you are learning. I just hope this could have gone on and on and on and on, because we are looking at issues that worship leaders go through, and it is very, very important. One thing I've taken out of this, I'm going to say after this. Now, man of God, yes. Maybe even as we wind up, we have looked at the key qualities of a worship leader, and we have looked at some of the key ones. And maybe as we wind up, what will be your final take, even as we finish, finalize this series of worship and leadership?
My final, maybe, you see, about worship and leadership, we can talk more.
Yeah.
because I'm already prompted to talk about the ministry ethics.
That's our next series.
Yes, the
Actually,
ministry ethics.
that's our next series that is beginning next week.
Because every minister, worship leaders included, should know what ministerial ethics are. But the problem, we carry gift, but without ethics. When you carry a gift without ethics, and that is why I love this man of God, Apostle Job Utali says that do not trust a gift that is not fathered.
Yeah.
Because a gift that is not fathered can become poisonous.
Okay.
Even sugar is a poison. And they will tell you that. That sugar, however sweet it is, and how it brings flavor to whatever the factor, it can become a poison unto you. So I want to talk to, because we are on the worship leaders. If you are a leader, you are a worship leader. Also try and learn, apart from learning the songs, and learning the things that pertains to worship departments.
Okay.
Also learn more about ministry. When you have ministerial ethics, it will show you and tell you who you are supposed to be in the ministry. Not only what you are supposed to be, not only what you are, but also who you are. So when you get to ministerial ethics, these battles that we are fighting again and again, I tell you, we will minimize them.
Okay.
To the pastors, when you bring in a worship leader who is helping you in your church to train, supervise, oversee, you must realize and you have to know you are not a parallel ministries. Worship department, praise and worship department is answerable to the pastor who called and gave them opportunity and gave them positions to serve. The position of a worship leader is just like the position of an admin of the church. And all the administrators, they are answerable. The key person and the final person and the overseer is the man of God in charge of the ministry.
Okay.
I am a pastor, and I may be pastoring under a certain commission. However much gifted and the call of God upon my life, I am answerable to the man who God gave the mandate and the mantle of that commission. However much I will feel like doing what I feel is good for the church, but I have to inquire and I have to sit them down. We have to talk. I have to get their direction. So worship leaders need to understand that they are not small pastors pastoring praise and worship in a small congregation, but they are leaders led by the general man of God that has given us an opportunity. Suppose the man of God aweke kifuli kwa hiyo mlango aseme kuanzia leo hakuna church. Where will this worship leader go and lead? He will only look for another church that is open, and that church there must be a pastor. He will not go out there and run his worship ministry forum. Even them that God has blessed and have started things like band and are running worship experiences out there, you will realize that on Sundays, there is a place they go. There is a pastor that is in charge. I love Afleo. I was part of Afleo when it was beginning at NPC, Valley Road. The very, very first moments that it was beginning, it was starting. I was part of it when we were not paying anything to become members. And the young man, Brother Timothy, who carried the vision, anytime Afleo, even today, anytime Afleo is running, the event is there, you will see men of God. And you will not see him even participating much, there are men of God who will even talk on behalf, and they will even give account of this young man, how they got connected, how their relationship have been. He has a super worship encounter that is running through not only in Kenya, but it is now international.
Okay.
But the man is very humble, sir.
Wow.
He's still playing keyboard. When he attends that experience, that event, he will come with his keyboard. He will still play the keyboard, sing 1 or 2 songs and go back. Hata jionyesha kwamba, you know, guys, in every event, he has to display himself and tell people that he's the vision bearer. It is people who will talk about him even when he's not available. So I want to talk to our leaders that are helping us in the praise and worship. Remain humble. Be fathered. Be coached. Every star, including Ronaldo, as a coach.
Wow.
There is no star that rises without a coach. And sometimes the fathers that we have may not know how to sing, but they give us feathers to fly. So you realize that you are ministering in a small church, but because of your humility, because of your faithfulness, God has connected you to a great open doors. I can mention great worshipers that have worshipped faithfully. Today, they are pastoring great churches. Nobody knew that they would become pastors. They did not find their pastors when they got that opportunity, but they served faithfully with a circumcised heart. So if we can embrace that, then we tell you we will have a super ministry and administration every services that we render, and God will use them.
Amen.
And the prayer that we normally pray that, oh Lord, as I stand, as we worship you, let healing take place. We will begin to see.
Wow.
But we are the barriers
To that.
of the move of the power of God
Wow.
when it comes to that. So worship leaders, soak yourself more into prayer. You know, we are calling it the discernment of the Spirit. Have the discernment in you, and at least be a son and follow instructions.
Amen.
Thank you.
I'm not going to add anything on that one because it is direct home, and it is home. I believe you as a worship leader who is watching this program tonight, that there's something that has changed. Actually, repentance has taken place, because if you were not having a father, I think it's high time to look for a father that will father you and grow with you. If you are having an issue to do with pride and all that has been said here, please work on that so that we have an effective ministry. Remember, the work of Worship Leaders Forum is to train worship leaders to become effective altar ministers. And I believe you have been trained tonight to be effective, even in your ministry. Be humble, and the Lord with you. And now, coming to the last point of this broadcast is that thank you so much, those who have been tuned in. Thank you, Brenda Rono and Sela J. I can see your comments, and God bless you so much for keeping us even up to this time. It's time to go offline, but before we go, as I promised, I'm going to give out a book. Remember, we are meeting on the 18th of June this month, or it will be on a Saturday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. for 6 hours of worship. It will be broadcasted live on Nisi Television, and I'd like to invite you specially to join this program that will be a moment of worship. It will be in Komarok, in Koma, Pastor Joska. Will be hosted by Pastor Ben Osano and Pastor Rosben Osano. That is where we will be, a moment of worship. Kujeni, come, let us soak ourselves in the presence of God. This month of June is a month of worship, I believe. So there are so many worship activities lined up. Now, we are beginning our practice this Sunday, and if you are within Nairobi or around Ruiru or wherever you are and you'd like to be part of the practice session, we are always meeting here in studio every Sunday afternoon from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for rehearsals and practice sessions. So if you want to be part and parcel, go to the WhatsApp page on the number on your screen, or just comment below there or inbox me and tell me that I would like to be part and parcel of the worship experience that will be happening on 18th, or you want just to be part and parcel of the rehearsal that we normally do every Sunday, with or without an activity. Every Sunday we are here doing rehearsals and practice for the glory of God. Now, I like to go offline, and here is the book. Now, pastor nimekuwa na watu wawili ambao wamekuwa wakishare this. The first person amekuwa so much aggressive on Facebook, anaitwa Nancy Adongo, and the other person who has been aggressive on WhatsApp, wacha nimfungue. Amefungua this guy because ametuma link hadi kwa group mimi niko. Haya, anaitwa Hillary Otieno. He has shared to, na amekuwa akipiga mpaka na screenshot.
Wow. So
Hillary Otieno and Nancy Adongo, you are the people that one of you is going to walk away with this book. Now, based on what Nancy Adongo has shared, and now I'm going to give one person this book because what I may share, but there is a difference.
All right.
Hillary has shared a lot, and Nancy has also shared a lot, but one of them has been commenting and engaging with us.
Okay.
More than the other. Huyu alishare na katulia. Huyu ameshare na amekuwa comment more like comment zake kama 3 ama 4 zimekuwa zikifuatana. Now, this without further ado. Thank you Gideon Ngandu Kilu. God bless you for tuning in, and this is powerful. You've came when we are winding up. So, without favoring anybody and with a good explanation, I'm handing this book over to Nancy Adongo.
Wow.
Because she has not just shared, but she has also engaged with us on our comment section.
Yes.
Hillary, you have shared, but you did not send even a single comment. So I'm sorry, brother. Hivyo tu ndio nimekudisqualify, lakini kwa upendo, I still love you. I know you as a person, so
so you know where you will do the correction.
You know where you'll do the correction next time. So this book officially goes to Nancy Adongo. And Nancy, if you're watching me next week on Friday, you are supposed to be here in this studio, so you will call me, or you know him, you know her?
I know her,
Yeah.
Yes.
Please let her come, and we'll be giving you this book officially live on TV. Ndio watu waone wewe pia ni msomi.
Hey, we will be back here to give her the book.
Exactly. A
Yes.
pastor will be here to give you the book officially. By the way, I've invited him with that.
That's true.
Yeah, pastor will be here to give you the book,
Yes.
and the Lord will bless you. This book is very good, Developing a Heart of Worship. And if you need a copy of this book, it's only 800 shillings. You can get a copy, and the Lord will bless you. Now, I have 3 more books to give. So I have 3 more Fridays that I'll be giving these books to 3 more people. So if you want this book, continue engaging with us, and the Lord will bless you. After this book, by the pasit na pena microphone.
Oh, microphone?
Microphone.
Wow.
Wireless.
Wow.
Eh.
Well, that is yes.
After
that, we are giving speakers.
After that, we're giving speakers and keyboards and drum sets. So we are going, after this book, Zimeisha, but then we are going to give out a full wireless microphone of good amount of money, si pesa kidogo, and to the winning person, so that it can be a blessing also to your church. So engage with us, and the Lord will bless you. What you will do to win this, continue sharing our broadcast. Engage with us online. When we send a poster, chukua hiyo poster, tuma kwa as many people as possible. We'll get notice of you.
And another big gift.
Yes.
Maybe we can decide so that we see how it will go. To the singles who are also watching, they're not married. If they engage very well, their wedding can be aired freely.
I tell you. Now that disqualifies me because it's a really requirement.
Yes.
Yeah, we can air your wedding for free, by the way.
Yes.
If you are single and you're planning for a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us who is the lucky man or the lucky lady. And, well, we will come where you are and broadcast this live. Courtesy of Worship Leaders Forum. Na tutakuja na band. Sisi ndio tuta MC. And that will be wonderful. So thank you so much, man of God, also for being here. Nancy, thank you for winning the book. God bless you. We'll see you next week on Friday. I'm also looking forward to getting to know you. And being blessed together. Thank you, my production crew, for making this an awesome broadcast, and also those of us who have joined. Now naona naona Ngosi Junior anasema tumefikiwa. Now, Nancy, I'm not going to give this book to your pastor.
Yeah.
I'm going to request
it has to be presented.
You. Yeah, I'm going to request you to come so that you receive it officially. Unajua watasema sikupeana.
Yeah.
So I want you to come officially so that you can receive it here on TV, just the way we have awarded you live on set. So if you will make it a point of coming, it will be a blessing. So Ngosi Junior, tumewafikia next nyinyi mtakuja kupata vitabu na microphones na drum sets na singles muoe na kuoana, and the Lord will bless you. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Have a wonderful service on Sunday, and remember to prepare for the service. One last thing that I will leave you with, the man of God has just said here, don't smell so much of the sweat of the man of God. Focus on the perfume. Achana sweat yake. Focus on the perfume. And the Lord will bless you. Have a good night. See you next week on Friday.
The House of Rest.